Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about how to make reeds, drone reeds in particular. A set of drone reeds can cost from between £60 to £100 sterling. In my opinion, that's a bit expensive. So I'm going to show you how to make a single reed, in this case a base drone reed, for as little as £1 or £2. So for this we need a hexagonal tubed pen, a 2mm drill, a small elastic band, some heat shrink tubing, a ruler, super glue, some hemp, a knife, and a piece of plastic, which in this case I've cut from a microwave ready meal dish, and I've cut it to the dimensions in the drawing. Now the first thing that we need to do is we need to take our pen and remove the ink cartridge and the nib, and then we take our drill, and in the middle there's a breathing hole. Now these pens can make two tenor reeds, because from the hole to the end, or from the hole to this end, is 60mm. So you cut down the middle. Now because the base drone is somewhat longer, I'm going to use this hole as a pilot hole for my 2mm drill, and then I'm going to measure a little bit down and drill my second hole and make the slot. Now I've drilled my holes 7mm apart, so that I end up with a slot 8mm long. I'm now going to take my knife and cut between the holes to make the slot. So I've now made my slot, and making the slot the center of my reed, I'm going to make the reed 80mm long. So here is my tube, 80mm long, and the slot is pretty much in the middle. So what we do next is we take our tongue and we place it on here, so that this end of the tongue is 1 or 2mm past the slot, and then we take a dab of super glue and we glue the two together, and then we just leave it for about 5-10 minutes. While the glue is drying, I take the end of the pen and push out the stopper, because we're going to need that in a minute. I've also cut a piece of heat shrink to length. This is nearly dry, so I've just trimmed down this here to make it a bit flush, so that when you put that heat tube over the top, the end of the heat tube is level with the end of the tube, and we just cover up the bit of glue. Now the slot is from here along to here, so we're not interfering with that. And then we're going to take our pen stop, and I'm going to put that in this end because I want an inverted drone reed. If you put it in this end so that the slot is there and this is the open end, then you have a non-inverted drone reed. So we're making a lot of progress now. So we've now got something that's starting to look like a reed, blocked end, and I've put a bit of black hemp to match the black heat shrink, so that when it's in the box, I know that my base drone reeds are colour coded black, my tenor drone reeds are colour coded red, and my baritone reed are colour coded blue, so I can quickly spot them. I've also left a tail of hemp. Now I do this two reasons. Well, I've put the hemp on so that when it goes into the drone, it makes a bit of a seal, and I've put a bit of glue on there because this surface is so slippery that the hemp has a tendency to move. So touch glue on there, leave that to dry. If it needs more hemp on, don't need glue the second time or any time after. But this length I leave on so that when it goes into the seat in the drone, then this tag can then go up the side of the stock and jam in between the drone and the stock. And then for any reason, if this falls out, it will just hang in the stock and not fall into the bag, because that might be difficult to get out afterwards. So just by having that in there, it stops it falling. You can see it when I hold against the background. So that's the idea of that. So we're at the final stages now, and we now need our little elastic band, and we just wrap that round a couple of times and slide that up on our tongue, and that's our bridle. So we've got our bridle, we take our ruler again, and we only for the base drone we want a tongue of about 20 millimeters. So we adjust our tongue there. Now we take our knife and we just slip it underneath the tongue and the thing. We just hold our finger on the bridle, slide that underneath and lift, and we just put just a fraction of a bend until the tongue and the flat edge are just a little bit prone, and then give it a couple of little flicks. And then we keep doing that until we get a whistle. We've finally got it to make a bit of a noise. So we insert that into our base drone. and then we just make some little adjustments just to get the right tone from it. And there you have your bass drone reed.